Tracy Walder. She herself, a former FBI special agent who worked with Powell during the time of 9/11. Tracy, when you heard this news, were you as shocked as we were?
I was completely shocked. I worked with him when I was in the counterterrorism center at the CIA. I mean, obviously, I knew he was 84. I did not know that he had COVID, so I was a little surprised.
And being surprised, I mean, obviously, we're still learning information, very little known about how long he was sick or if this was his first and only bout with COVID-19, contracting it after being vaccinated. He had a breakthrough case here, but sadly lost his life due to that. Can you describe what he was like? Was he as, I guess I know that he was a powerful man, but in terms of his intensity, was he an intense man? Was he a quiet man when you were working with him close up?
So I consider myself very, very lucky, actually, to have had the opportunity to work with him. You know, I started at the CIA in the Counterterrorism Center when I was 21 years old, and September 11th happened when I was 22. So I was sort of thrust into a very crazy situation. And it was myself and two other colleagues who were the first ones working the drone program at CIA. And so Colin Powell was clearly in there really every day. And I remember the night, it was December 2001, when we lost Osama bin Laden in Tora Bora. It was really obviously sort of let the wind out of the room sort of situation, very quiet, people cursing, all kinds of things. And I remember Colin Powell, he said, get mad, it's okay, but then you've got to get over it and move on. Yeah. And I liked that about him. He was sort of letting us acknowledge our feelings, but then, you know, he needed us to move on and kind of get the mission done. He was someone that I think to your point before, he always transcended politics, at least to me, and was always doing what he felt was best for the country and what he felt was the right thing. I had a complicated relationship with him. In 2003, he misused our chart on the floor of the UN to start the Iraq War. But, you know, I don't put the blame on that on him. I don't think he's the one that altered the chart. But I will still always respect him and always respect what I did. He was sort of larger than life, but never acted like he was larger than life, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. I mean, he was certainly a multifaceted figure, and you mentioned those charts in the Iraq War. Obviously, some people online bringing that up, bringing the history of that controversy up. But today, many remembering the kindness or the impact that he shared, the role model that he was. You did mention that, of course, as he told you, get mad, but get over it. I've been looking up quotes of his, and he did have this very no-nonsense way of affecting leadership and giving people advice. One quote from Colin Powell, don't be afraid to challenge the pros, even in their own backyard. I would say, you know, he had some chutzpah. Because you had to, in the roles that he was in, making history as the first Black Secretary of State here in the United States. But Tracy, we really appreciate you giving perspective to this. I would say that for somebody who works so closely with him, you were able to give us new insights into the man.
I think it's hard. I know people are talking about the Iraq War chart, but you know, you have to remember that was my chart that he misused, and I don't define him as that singular incident. We're not just one thing that we did. No one's perfect. And we have to think about the scope of his leadership and the scope of what he did and the trail that he blazed as the first African American. And I think that's really what's most important to be remembering right now.